Hi guys, welcome. We are doing lesson 6 in phonics. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, hold on a second. All right. So Unit 3, Lesson 6, our learning targets. I can practice my new spelling words. I can plan draft a book report. We're not doing that. I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story, the hares and the frogs. So we have a new list of spelling words this week. These are words that you will be studying at home. So let's practice these words together. So this week's spelling words, we have frog and moth. We have quote. We have spoon and tooth. We have wood and took. And our tricky word is why. So those those are 8 spelling words that you need to make sure that you practice this week because our spelling test will be on Friday. So our spelling assessment, I will show you our spelling sheet. Looks like this right here, okay? And it's got your spelling words on it with a little note at the top to your family, okay? Make sure to practice because your spelling test is on Friday. And these are words that we have seen before. All right. So let's skip over some of these things here because we're not writing a report. All right. So we are going to read The Hares and the Frogs. Today we're going to be reading a story called The Hares and the Frogs. Hares are also called jackrabbits. Hares look like rabbits and run very fast. They are bigger than rabbits and they build their homes above ground. So let's look at these spellings. We have the long A and long O and our double O and our tricky words. We have hare, scares, and scared. We have quote. We have stood, good, look, and brook. And our tricky words, do, so, were, and are. Our vocabulary words, we have brook and we have bunch. A brook is a small stream and a bunch is a group of something. Like you've noticed there, it's a bunch of grapes. It's a group of grapes. So let's read to find out the moral or lesson of our story today. All right, here's our story. The Hares and the Frogs. 3 hares stood in the grass. I am sad, one of them said. I wish we were brave. So do I, said the next one, but we are not brave. A splash in the brook scares us. The wind in the grass scares us. We are scared all the time. Yes, said the last one. It is sad to be a hare. And there's a picture of your hares. They look kind of sad, don't they? Just then, there was a splash in the brook. The splash scared the hares. They ran off to hide. As they ran, they scared a bunch of frogs. Look, said one of the hares, the frogs are scared of us. Yes, they are, said the next hare. They are scared of us. Well, I'm glad I am not a frog. Yes, said the last hare. In the end, it is good to be a hare. And there's the frogs jumping off. And the hares, look at their facial expressions. They're happy again, aren't they? Because they scared the frogs. They were glad to be hares, weren't they? Okay, so let's go back here to our slides. So, what words would you use to describe the hares? They were kind of scared, weren't they? They were scared of everything. What types of things scared the hares? Well, let's think about it. What were they scared of? They were scared of the wind in the grass. They were scared of a splash in the brook. Oof. What happens when the hares run off to hide? They end up doing what? Scaring frogs, right? Yeah. What does the last hare say after scaring the frogs? It's good to be a hare, isn't it? Now, what if I didn't know the answer to this question? How could I find the answer to that question? I could go back to my story over here, and I could scroll back and see what was the last thing the hare said. And it says right here, the last line, it says, yes, said the last hare, in the end, it is good to be a hare, right? So I could have gone back into my story and chosen my answer that way. Oops. There. Make sure we're still screen sharing here so you can still see it. All right. So what does the last hare say after scaring the frogs? It is good to be a hare. Great. What do you think the moral or lesson is of the fables? Well, let's think. What is the lesson here? Well, they're always scared of everything, but if they don't do anything about it, they're going to stay scared, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're not ready for our learning targets yet. We will come back to that. We need to go into our worksheets because we have a worksheet here that we need to do with our lesson. It's 6.4, the hares and the frog. So number 1, where did the hares have a chat? Where did they have a chat? Mark your answer. Number 2, why were 2 of the hares sad? It's because they were fools, they were tame, or they were not brave. Why were the hares sad? And you don't have to write the page numbers down, okay? Number 3, what are some of the things that scared the hares? We listed a few of them when we had our discussion. Number 4, who was scared of the hares in the end? Okay, make sure that you write all those answers down and that you turn those in, okay? But you don't need the page numbers, all right? So let's go back to our slide. Our learning targets. I can practice my new spelling words, and I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story, The Hares and the Frog. So I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, that is the end of this lesson, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye, guys.